These are my top 5 compounds that I have listed. It is going to yield you some crazy results, but what's good, guys? At Diagofit here, Diagofit.com for coaching. Today we're breaking down the top anabolic steroids to use for burning fat. And this is not just suppressing appetite. This is actually physically burning the fat, increasing nutrient partitioning, increasing metabolism. These are actual compounds that are going to shred the fat off your fucking frame along with that water weight. So if you're trying to get lean and you're trying to go enhance and hop on a fucking blast, these are some compounds that you might want to think about taking. Now, the first compound we're going to go over today is Trenbolone, the king of fucking cutting. You can either take Tren Ace or Trenananthate. Now, if you're going to take this fucking compound, I would heavily advise that you take Tren Ace as opposed to E. Ace is going to be in and out of your system real quick, especially with Tren. It comes with massive side effects. So you want to take Ester that's going to be in and out of your system really goddamn quick, as opposed to E, which is going to take a long time to enter the system and also simultaneously exit the system as well. Now, this compound is going to be extremely potent at preserving muscle in a deficit, but it's also going to boost nutrient partitioning and metabolism through the roof, and that's what's going to allow you to shred quick on this compound. Now, this is one of those compounds that you can be in a caloric surplus and still shred while you are eating like a fucking slob. You can still shred down taking this fucking compound. It's one of the only compounds that does this. So now imagine if you're in a caloric deficit, the effects that this compound is going to have. Now, the issue with Tren is the side effects. If it didn't have any sides, everyone would be taking this shit, but it does. It comes with very harsh sides: insomnia, night sweats, aggression, cardio suppression, trend cough, massive cardiovascular strain, massive cardiac risk. This compound is not beginner friendly at all. This is something you take later on down the road. Very advanced compound, very advanced shredding compound. It's not even intermediate. This is something you take way down the fucking road after you've experimented with all those intermediate and beginner friendly fucking options first. So Tren is absolutely the king of cutting, but it comes with those fucking risks. Now, if you're going to take it, you're going to take anywhere from 50 milligrams if you're brand new a week, upwards of 500 milligrams. That's of Ace. I've seen people take a lot more than this, but if you want optimal results, you're going to take somewhere between that 50 to 500, right? And 500 is on the very high end for this compound. Now, the next option that we have here is Anavar. This is one of the most safest and most popular options that's currently on the market in terms of gear. This is very, very beginner friendly, and females can take this too, to the two of you that are fucking watching this that are female. This is friendly for females to take. You can still masculinize as a female taking it, but it's going to be way less potent as opposed to Tren, or a very highly androgenic compound that will absolutely masculinize you fast. Okay, Anavar still will, but at a very slower rate. Now, Anavar does promote significant fat reduction while also adding lean tissue to your frame. It has very low androgenic sides, like I just mentioned, minimal water retention. It's excellent for vascularity and hardness. Now, the issue with Anavar, it does have to get processed through the liver. This is one of those compounds. It is a fucking oral, so you will need to have really good liver support on deck. Even though it's beginner friendly, it's not going to be the most liver toxic. It still is liver toxic. Think about any type of pill that you take. It is getting processed through your liver. It is going to boost your liver enzymes. It's going to boost up your AC, ALT, alkaline phosphatase. You don't want that boosted up for too long. That can cause liver damage. So you do need to make sure you have liver support on hand with this compound. But when it comes to shredding, it's absolutely very effective. It's absolutely beginner friendly. With this list, if you're brand new to this shit, this is one of those compounds that would be excellent for you to try out. But that's the most popular and the safest option on this list. Now, moving along to Winstrol or Stanozolol. Excellent classic shredding compound for a dry physique. Now, this is also an oral, so it is going to get processed through the liver, same fucking liver toxicity effects, but it is going to enhance fat loss massively. It's going to reduce SHBG. It's going to free up other fucking hormones. It's going to give you that chiseled look without the estrogen conversion. Excellent compound. Now, some of the cons with Winnie is you can get joint dryness, so it does shred you out really quick, especially in a caloric deficit. Okay, if you're in a surplus, it's not going to be the same thing as Tren. You will absolutely still get that increased nutrient partitioning and enhanced metabolism effect, but it's not the same as Tren. So don't expect to take this in a caloric surplus and get shredded. You do need to be in a caloric deficit. That's where it's going to shine. It will absolutely shred off that excess fat and water on your frame, assuming the fact that all your shit's dialed in with your training, your diet, and this blast that you're taking. Now, the compound also can tank libido pretty bad. That is a common side that you can run into, but I'd say the joint dryness and the pain is probably one of the main sides that are documented for this fucking compound. I've run into it many times. If you're already in a deficit and you take this compound, it is going to shred all that excess excess shit off your frame. So it can leave your joints very dry and achy. And that sucks, especially when you're trying to lift a little heavier. It's going to suck and it's going to hurt and it's not going to feel good. So that is one of the main cons with it, but it absolutely is a classic option when it comes to shredding. So this will definitely be in your best interest to take. This is a more intermediate compound as well. Keep that in mind. Not the most beginner friendly, but also not a crazy advanced compound like fucking Tren, somewhere in the middle. Okay, next compound here is Masteron, or also known as just standalone. Okay, there are a couple S's for this Prop E, but regardless, whatever you take, it is going to be a great finisher for a contest prep, or just in general as an intermediate compound to take. Once you're bypassed that rookie phase of test only, taking like test mass or test VAR to shred is going to be excellent. And Masteron is one of those options. This is going to bypass the liver. So the past two options we went over do get processed through the liver. This one is an injectable. It's not going to get pushed through the fucking liver. That is a massive pro taking this compound. It does come at very low sides, believe it or not, which makes this an excellent option to take directly after that rookie phase of test, stacked on top of test. The androgenic sides are there though. So this compound will absolutely come with androgenic sides. It is a DHT derivative. So think about anything that's going to masculinize a male, a square jawline, increased facial hair growth, a deeper voice, increased aggression, all that shit, you're going to get it with this compound. A DHT derivative you take, you will get masculinizing effects. That is what androgenic sides is referring to. Okay, if a compound is heavily androgenic, it's going to come with those masculinizing related sides, basically what it means. Now, the one great part about mass, yes, it does have enhanced nutrient partitioning, enhanced metabolism type effects, but it's also anti-estrogenic. So a lot of people, myself included, will take this shit on top of your blast to reduce estrogen down if it's going up too high from your test. Okay, it can reduce that shit down without needing to take a toxic as fuck aromatase inhibitor that's going to get processed through the liver, okay, alongside everything else, and just overall come with more sides as opposed to benefits. Okay, AIs suck, they're toxic, but for most people you need to take them just to make sure that your estrogen is in range. Now mast can be a great alternative to take so that you don't need to take that fucking bullshit. You can use mast and it absolutely will reduce estrogen down in some users more than others, in some not at all. Okay, so it is very user dependent when it comes to these anti-estrogenic properties. For myself, it definitely does reduce my estrogen down, so I love taking this compound in place of an AI for some cycles. But regardless, it's absolutely going to aid in fat loss, going to harden your muscle. And the one thing though with mass is that it's going to shine at low body fat percentage. Okay, it's one of those compounds where you're in a caloric deficit, you're already nearing like 12, 11, 10% body fat. That's where this compound is going to absolutely shine. But if you do have a high body fat percentage, like 15 to 20%, you probably shouldn't take this shit. It's not really going to break the bank unless you're taking it for those anti-estrogenic properties. But there's other shit you can take for that regardless. That's a solid pro to the compound. But overall, I think it definitely is a solid choice. It's one of the top options for shredding, which is why it's on this list. Now, our next option here is going to be Primobolan or Methenolone, a very mild premium option when it comes to cutting or getting that tone look to shredding in general. It's absolutely going to preserve muscle in extreme deficits. It's absolutely going to preserve muscle excellently in caloric deficits. There's very low sides and it's excellent if you're going to take it over a long period of time. The one issue with Primo is one, it's actually a couple issues. One, it's very fucking expensive. Two, it's very hard to find real shit. This stuff is so widely faked right now on the underground market, which is really the only way you're going to get it. It's so faked that I would say on average, 90% of the stuff out there that's for sale is fake. It's not even fucking Primo. You could be taking EQ, equipoise in place of that shit when you thought you were buying Primo, or some other shit. It could be Tren for all you know, Lodo's Tren. It's just not safe to buy now, which is one of the reasons why I would not be taking this now. Once the tides clear up when it comes to all these import issues and tariffs and all that bullshit, maybe it's going to be a way better option when you know for a fact you're getting real shit when the prices drop a little bit. It absolutely is a excellent premium option, but regardless, it's always going to be one of the more expensive compounds. It's never going to be on par with like Test or Tren when it comes to that budget cost of the compound. It's never going to be there. It's always going to be more expensive, which is definitely a con. But if you have the budget, if you know where to get the real stuff, this is probably one of the best options you can take when it comes to a side effect risk profile. There's basically no sides with this shit. You can take a pretty decent dose and not run into any sides. That's why it's excellent to take for a longer duration of time. You're not really running into any problems with this fucking compound, and you definitely will get solid results. It's not going to break the bank at all, but in a deficit, it's definitely going to help you preserve that mass. And it's going to help you shred down and get that tone look overall, which is why it's on the list that you can take. Now I'm going to rank all these compounds out of 5 stars. We're going to rank each one of them based on the pros specifically on their fat loss strength, starting with Tren, 5 out of 5. You're not beating Tren. Tren is the king of cutting. When you're looking at pros specifically, the reason why it's so hyped, it's so trending, everyone knows what Tren is. When you think about gear, it's because it's so effective. So easily for fat loss strength, 5 out of 5 for Tren. Not saying you should take it. It comes with massive side effects, but when it comes to pros only, 5 out of 5. Anavar is getting 4 out of 5. Definitely a solid compound to take for fat loss, but it's not going to break the bank. If you take a decent dose, absolutely. Going into a more intermediate blast, you can take a higher dose, get better effects. But in general, it's not on the same fucking par as Tren, but it will still get you amazing fat loss benefits out of the compound. So I easily am ranking this 4 out of 5. When it comes to Winnie, 4 out of 5. Mast, 4 out of 5. All three of those compounds, Var, Winnie, Mast, are getting 4 out of 5. They're very similar. All of them are very similar. Okay, when it comes to those fat burning effects specifically, they all come with their own subsector sides though, is the problem. So like Var is going to be a lot more beginner friendly. Winnie comes with that heavy liver toxicity. Mast is going to come with its own set of sides when it comes to androgenicity and all that shit. But if you're looking specifically at fat loss, all of them are pretty much on the same fucking wavelength. Okay, I'm giving them all 4 out of 5. When it comes to Primo, I'm giving this 3 out of 5 just because it's a very fucking mild compound. You're not going to see crazy results out of this unless you're in a severe caloric deficit. That's when you're going to get that tone look. You're going to get that excess fat burning effects from the compound. That's when it's really going to shine. For Var, Winnie, Mast, you could be around 10-12% body fat and still get decent fat burning effects from the compound. Regardless, you're going to get fat burning effects, but you won't notice Primo specifically unless you are in a severe caloric deficit. That's when it really is going to shine. So that's why it's getting 3 out of 5. It's not breaking the bank when it comes to fat loss as opposed to like Tren, for example. So that's why that's going to be lowest on the list. Regardless, these are my top 5 compounds that I have listed for fat burning. I think that these are all the best possible options that you can consider if you are trying to shred down the enhanced route. Okay, these are all great fucking options. Tren, not so much. It is going to yield you some crazy results, but with the expense of your health. So this is obviously not the best option. There are specific use cases for the compound, but you shouldn't take this shit haphazardly, all willy-nilly, just fucking jabbing your ass with Tren. Don't do that shit. You will regret it. That's my 2 cents for these compounds. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.